altcoins. What in the hell is going on? Because if you have not been paying attention, the market is on fire. We are at all-time highs right now, and we are in price discovery mode. We're in discovery mode for total market cap. We just passed 4.1 trillion. We are now officially bigger than Nvidia. That is a milestone. And it's all due to a massive, wide swath of things that had to occur to allow this market to expand. This is going to be a great episode. So stay tuned. For those that do not know, my name is Jake Tullis. I go by JT. I run a crypto hedge fund out of Cincinnati, Ohio called Bleeding Edge Capital. And if you want to learn more about me, my background, or my fund, just click the link in the banner. Okay, now back to the wide swath of things that needed to happen for this market to absolutely pump. First, we need to see Bitcoin dominance going down. We have been above 60 for a long time. And then just here, we started breaking down the dominance, okay? Now, what that means is alts are increasing. If you take a look at that, 4.12 trillion in total market cap. The dominance of Bitcoin is at 58.7. So that means that Bitcoin is no longer getting all of the new capital that's coming. In fact, it's getting a very small amount in proportion to Ethereum, which we're about to go into. But for the alt season to be here, the first thing that needs to happen is you need Ethereum to enter new all-time highs. So we need to have Ethereum outperforming Bitcoin. For this entire cycle, Ethereum has been a laggard. Bitcoin has been one of the best investments. And that's, I believe, all about to change with Ethereum's insane God candles that are being printed. In case you guys weren't aware, Ether is absolutely melting faces right now. It just passed 4K. It's at 47.42 at this moment. These candles are why time in the market is more important than time in the market. Look, that is vertical, completely vertical. And we're about to be at price discovery mode. In fact, I think we're actually in price discovery mode right now. So the fact, as I'm talking, Ethereum has entered price discovery mode. And when that happens, alts start ripping because now Ethereum's outperforming Bitcoin. If Ethereum's outperforming Bitcoin, people want returns. They're chasing alpha. So people rotate into these smaller cap tokens, literally going down the market caps, right? When that starts happening, altcoin markets go up in general. Now, if Bitcoin dominance is going down, you also need social interest to go up. Look at this altcoin search metric. Now we have retail piling in. When Bitcoin dominance is going down and you have retail FOMO going up, so fear's getting higher. We were at 63 on the dash right here. We're at 63, so not crazy. It is going up, right? You need that, and you need social interest. You need retail entering the market, actually trying to figure out what other altcoins. That also means institutions are looking at that as well. This is the perfect layout of what I was just talking about, the summarization. Every market starts with Bitcoin ripping and melting faces, and it usually is 2 years. Alts will have little mini cycles in that period, but in general, they are depressing, and Bitcoin is outperforming all. The next step is what we talked about, where Ethereum really starts to outperform Bitcoin in a big way. 50% weeks happening. It is basically catching up to Bitcoin at 70K relative pricing, right? The last peak was 69K. Theoretically, we have a doubling and then some for it to be caught up to Bitcoin. Then Ethereum chills, slows down, and people want more returns. So we are going into the top 20, also outperforming. XRP, it has absolutely destroyed Bitcoin in the past year. BNB is almost at all-time highs. Solana is at almost all-time highs. Tron is in price discovery mode. Look at that. Chainlink, it's about halfway from an all-time high. This is an all-time high. So we're starting to see the top 20 really perform as well. We are right there in phase 3. I personally run a fundamentals alt fund, and I'm seeing this behavior right around phase 3 in my fund right now, where all of my tokens are doing very well, and there are other alts that are hot air that I follow that are not doing very well. So they're not in my fund, but I follow them. They're not doing well. We are having really good pumps like Athena. That is a dark horse right now. If you go look at Athena, it is incredible what it's doing. It went from 25 cents to 80 cents just in the past month. So it's been a few 100%, see 130%. And that's a small cap. It really is. So we're right in that phase. I believe we're about to enter full on alt season. Now, what is going to get Ethereum into massive price discovery mode here? What is going to take it to 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,000? Well, this wonderful Twitter account loves to follow all of the big boys. And if you look at this, this is what's causing Ethereum to absolutely explode. Institutions are doing the playbook. They are going into Ethereum because they believe Ethereum will outperform Bitcoin. And I believe that is an accurate position to take. You have Ethereum treasury companies coming in, buying Ethereum. And guess what? Ethereum gets staked, y'all. So that's supply disappearing in real time. I mean, Ethereum is going to go through, I believe, a parabolic phase. It already has started. I don't think it's going to slow down. If you go look at what's going on with the Genius Act and you look at what the market cap is across the chains here, Ethereum has 50% of stable coins and 140 billion. The Genius Act just passed. They bought all they could of the Circle IPO. Now they're going into Ethereum. That's what's happening. People are realizing the best way to get exposure to Ethereum, to stablecoins, is to actually buy the infrastructure. Circle pays Ethereum with every transaction. So does Coinbase. They all pay Ethereum, and everyone's starting to figure that out. I think Ethereum could go much higher from here. Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary of the White House, has said that this market could hit 2 trillion by 2030.
New digital assets, especially stable coins, and I've seen estimates that just over the short term, stable coins could create 2 trillion of demand for U.S. treasuries and treasury bills.
And they own 50%. Let's say they keep 50%. That is literally 900 plus billion. It's like $1 trillion going into this metric here. That would put, if Bitcoin stayed the same, which it wouldn't in this time frame, but let's say it did, that would put Ethereum almost as big as Bitcoin. It still wouldn't flip it, which is crazy to think about. But people want exposure to stablecoins through Ethereum, and the big boys are doing it. All the ones that manage trillions of dollars are doing exactly this. And then finally, we have the actual ETF inflows. Look at this. Retail's here. It's what we said. This is proof. This is also institutions, to be fair, but people are absolutely skyrocketing the demand for Ethereum. Look at all this stuff. There are 19 at the moment that have bought, what is that? 2 million Ether, let's say. Almost 11 billion. There we go. 2.2 million Ether, almost 11 billion held by companies. And this all started happening a couple months back. So what we're seeing is serious adoption of Ethereum as an investment thesis and as infrastructure for stablecoins, which just the Genius Act just passed. So people want exposure to this, and it is a great feeling for the alt markets to be here, for this alt season to be confirmed. We need Ethereum to be in exactly the place that it is at in this current moment. We just got to check in on the NFTs because that is the Ethereum social marker, retail flooding in thing as well. This at one point was like 50 billion. So we're actually getting we're creeping up. This was at $1 billion, if not under, in the bear market. So we're actually starting to see this go up. Now that's also because Ethereum's going up, and all of these are denominated in Ethereum for the most part. But this also covers Solana and everything else. This has been trickling up. I do believe that NFTs are going to start coming back. It's going to be a part of the meme culture, these meme tokens. It's all going to be a thing. If you're a meme token with a community of acolytes and you want to release an NFT project, you would sell that like crazy. That's on Ethereum as well, by the way, and Solana and Avalanche. They're everywhere. Now, what also needs to be true for the alt season to be confirmed? We talked about Ethereum being in stage 3-ish, where we are about to be parabolic, in my opinion, with all of this demand. Supplies trickling, it gets staked, it gets taken off chain, it's not in the bank. It is just gone, getting yield. And then you also need good monetary situations. You need liquidity. You need liquidity for money to flow into just financial products, investments, and assets in general, right? Take a look at this. We are peaking in M2. M2 is the money that is circulating in the market. Why does it matter? Well, I wanted you to look at this counterflow model that shows you the correlation between M2 and Bitcoin's price. M2 is typically leading. See, you can see this massive pump. Bitcoin followed shortly after, right? Let's say the pump is September 25th to, we'll call it right here, February 5th of 23. So from October to February 22 to 23, it's like 5 months. They pumped 5 trillion in, and then Bitcoin started climbing right when they stopped printing. Really peaked right there. Actually met M2 supply at 70K. Then we printed more. We went from 104 to 111. So we've actually put more money in the market. This money took us out of the bear market, and we've actually put more in recent with Bitcoin not even responding. It started entering the market at 102,000. 7 trillion is entered. The entire global market. When the last pump, 5 entered, and we 4x'd. We just had 7. We had 7 trillion enter. Are we going to get another 4x from here? I don't believe so. But the liquidity environment is very, very strong. I don't see that changing. If you were to look even further outward with all these geopolitical conflicts, there could be a black swan, there could be a really scary thing, could be a bank run, all of this stuff could happen. But also, they got to print money to support whatever happens after. They have to. That means there's more liquidity. In addition to having more liquidity so that's number 2, you need liquidity. You need Ethereum. Well, actually, this is probably number 4 or 5. You need Bitcoin dominance being going down. You need Ethereum to be parabolic. You need mid caps to be doing price discovery mode. Then you need, for alt season to be completely confirmed, you need small caps ripping your face. Okay, we're not there yet, but we could be, and that will confirm the alt season. And then you also need liquidity right here, which is doing very well. And then the last thing you need is the dollar. Okay, you need the dollar to be down. You need the dollar to be down because back in 2022, you see this? This is the bull run. I'm sorry, this is the bear market. Alt season gets confirmed when the dollar starts going down. This is October of 2022. February, January, May 23, July 23. Take a look at this. Okay. When I go to Bitcoin and you look at the prices and the dates, I'm sorry, I should probably go with Ethereum. Ethereum, this will be the marker. So for the alt season here, all 2022. All right, October 22, the dollar's at its peak. The dollar starts dropping in 2023. Look at each price. It peaks in 2024. The dollar's down to 101 when it was originally at 113. Now let's look at now. Bitcoin runs and then we fall. The dollar is bottoming out lower and at a greater decline. Actually at a greater decline. 100%. And it's trending down. The reason why you need the dollar down for the alt season to be confirmed is people are doing this thing called capital flight. Capital flight is, oh no, the dollar is weak. That means my T-bills, my bonds, everything I denominate in dollars is bad. So I need to go buy gold. I need to go buy hard assets, things like that. Crypto as well. So as people are going through capital flight, they look at crypto more seriously this time. And they're looking at it as an alternative to escape the crashing dollar. We need that to be happening, and it's happening. So next to the liquidity and everything else, we also have the dollar compressing. That is something that is required for the alt season to be confirmed. And the liquidity could not look better. If you're a big believer in the 4-year cycles, this is the cycle model. So it takes all the historical data and it basically runs it on a 4-year cycle predicated to price only. And if you take a look at where we are relative to hash rate in the background, relative to the price, and then the projected price based on the previous cycles, right now we should be entering some crazy phase. Wildest part about all of this is, if this is accurate and true, as you can see, it doesn't always follow. It has at times, but it broke the channel here. Let's say this is 90% accurate, and it's saying it could reach up to 200 something thousand. Let's say it hits 160, 170. That feels reasonable. That could be reasonable right up in through here. And maybe we stay inside this channel. It also could break and go sideways. No one knows the future, but the cycle is looking like the last phase as well in terms of timing. So the timing, if you believe in the 4-year cycles, would have to fall into this cycle, which it is. Serendipitously, the dollar is compressing, liquidity is going up, Ethereum gets regulation that lets them catch a massive bid. All of that's happening at the same time that this cycle normally has a parabolic phase. I don't know. I don't know. As a macro analyst and professional, I can point to everything I just pointed to, right? And that is the setup. It's a great setup. It's the best setup you could have. It is the only setup that makes the alt season possible. But you also could be a nobody, a novice, looked at this thing and said, I'll just buy Bitcoin when it's in the low channels, and you'd have made a lot of money. Maybe there's truth to the cycle. I don't know. But if there is truth to the cycle, this is the perfect phase for it. For the alt season to be confirmed, this is the phase that we need to be in. And coin market cap only has it at a 40 out of 100. If that's true, I could see a market cap of 10 trillion in the next 12 months. I really could. If this is 40% cooked, we got a long way to go. We could potentially see another 20% drop, Bitcoin going up with a 20% drop in market cap. I personally am grateful to be on this side of the trade. And my fund is right around 2/3 alts. I have Bitcoin and Ethereum as a third, and roughly 32 names in addition that are across 8 market sectors. And all of them are fundamentally driven, solid alts that are starting to outperform Bitcoin. I have almost 80% of the fund in profit, with the smallest return being 5% and the largest return being 500%. And Bitcoin has been just hovering around 10 to 12% up and down. Even at 120 from the start of the year, we started pretty high. This is the beginning of the alt season, and I am very, very excited for this period of time. I hope you are too. I hope this has been helpful. All of this is not financial advice. This is just my opinion on the stuff that I showed you here, and I'm just explaining what I'm doing as a fund manager for my job. If you found it helpful, I would love for you to hit the sub button, and I would love for you to bring topics to the community for us to talk about and make videos for you. This is just an exciting time, guys, in my opinion. I could be wrong. I could wake up tomorrow and have to make some really amazing calls to say, hey, this cycle is over, but now's time to buy. That's the best thing that happens here, honestly, is we get a remarkable opportunity to enter the market, or we make a lot of money because we're already deployed. There is no losing in this game, as far as I can tell. So until next time, y'all, take care of one another. Peace and love. I'll see you.